Okay, I'm getting ready to discuss the freight analysis framework data set and putting it into Tableau view. Before I do that, I want to give you some fundamentals. First of all, you need to look at this website, HPMS OPS, Office of Freight Management Operation, for discussions about the freight analysis framework. I just want to make some points here. I'm not using the network files. You definitely need to read the user manual and the user guide because it has relevant information concerning the information, the origin of the data, how it was collected. There is an update that they're going to put historic data in. And so in this context, the name of the file is actually FAF Tableau. I'll get to that in a second. And there's a number of webinars here concerning what the FAF is, what the FAF isn't. The Bureau of Transportation Statistics has a similar site. They also mention this data tabulation tool, as does the Freight Analysis Framework site here. And basically the data tabulation tool is a very crude portal to the information. It's got total flows, domestic flows, import and exports, all is separate. So when you go through this this data set, okay, you could do the information through here, distance bands or whatever, but there's some benefits of using the freight analysis framework and having it in a database that's in and of itself. However, before I start getting into the Tableau view, I think it's pertinent that you go and look at Tableau Getting Started. You need to review this 25-minute long video, and you can just do a URL search. I've got the information copied, and I will share that in the notes so that when you start putting the information together, you have some of the information upon which I'm doing, and it'll give you a sense of Tableau structure, and I'll be reinforcing that as I'm going through actually developing the FAF data set. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this out, and I open up Tableau. I come to this blank page, nothing there. First thing I do is I know that I have this Tableau. I'm going to use this FAF Tableau CSV. Now, if you notice, this file says FAF Tableau. It's only 86 megs. This is actually the real file right here, this FAF 4.3 joined. I'm not, at this point in time, I'm not copying that file in replacement of this file simply because a 87 meg file runs a lot faster than a almost 3 gig file. So just for the sake of the examples and the sake of what I'm doing, I'm going to use this smaller file so I have enough data to show you how to use it, but yet we can just rename it, copy it over, and the Tableau will remember the file structures that we put in. First thing we do, we bring the file in, and we see all these different things. ID field is a unique field that I was using to build a data set. We don't need it. We go to hide. Year, I want to make year a string, and so there it is. Forecast. This basically tells me if it is a base forecast, an optimistic forecast, or the pessimistic forecast. So as this is loading up, you see null, that is the base forecast. That is the standard. O is an optimistic forecast, and P is the pessimistic forecast. And there's information on these forecasts on the Freight Analysis Framework website. And so I'm going to rename these. Year, forecast, foreign origin. And if you notice that data set, let's come over here and actually look at the data set so we can see it. The FAF data set ID field, year, forecast, and if you notice the majority of these are codes. Tons, ton miles, value, weight, distance, etc. All these are codes. So what we'll do is I'm going to actually edit this file. I'm just going to call this tons, and I'm going to call this OOS because it's actually in thousands of tons. This is in millions of US dollars, and ton miles is also in millions. Okay, so we've updated that, and because I went through this field, we now have a data set. I'll hit save. And the reason I did it is you notice that these three column headings changed. So I close this out, minimize this. Now I come up to this, undo this refresh button. So go back to the data and look and make the changes. Now you notice tons just changed. Value just changed. Weight distribution, distance band, those didn't change because I didn't modify them. Ton miles changed. So one of the things about Tableau is it sits on top of data. So if I want to go back through and make changes to the underpinning data, I can. I do this refresh button, and as you tell, it brought the new headings and things of that nature. So this button is a start page, is where I started earlier. This goes back and help me, if I undo anything, it'll go to that. We'll talk about that later on. This is a save, so I'm going to save this, and I'm going to call this Tableau. Okay, so now I have a saved file. And so I go through all of these files right here. I go, okay, this is year. I've already changed this to a string. Forecast is a string. Foreign origin is not a string. So I come here. I'm going to make this a string. And I'm going to come here and do the aliases. Now, if you notice, the aliases is a very useful tool. And every time it loads the data, it's going to be loading this like this. That's why I went to the smaller data set. And you see these numbers. So if I come to this data set here, you'll see where I have built all of these numbers. In Excel. So all I'm going to do is simply come to the international regions. I'm going to minimize it, leave this here. I'm just going to cut and paste. And I'm going to show you, and the reason I'm doing the cut and paste here is because I don't need to have these files modified later on. Like I'll explain to you that when I get to the commodities and some of the other files. But basically, the thing with Tableau about doing it this way is it just keeps the aliases, and I'll show you how that works. Now, if you notice, there's a file in here called null. Basically, if you're in the international series and it says null, that means it's a domestic shipment or does not report as being a shipment. So anyway, it says foreign origin, so we're going to rename this and we're going to call it import origin. We'll call this foreign country, foreign import country. Okay, so then we get to this domestic origin. It's going to be the same thing. Now this is a little, and so we get back here, we get these aliases. So if I do an update now, it'll populate. See a null. Now if so it says show alias, I take the aliases off, and that'll show the numeric code for both forecast and for the foreign country. I want to do the aliases because that's what I'm going to be using when I do my analysis. The next thing, I come to this one that says domestic origin. Okay, so this is basically, I need to rename this, and I'm going to call it domestic FAF origin. And we're going to call this, actually, we're going to call this FAF. And we're going to call this one FAF. Okay, so we have foreign import, FAF domestic. Both of these are Ginter codes. We're going to come back here. We're going to make this a string. And we're going to make this one a string. And if you notice, these are the same variables, domestic, and it says, well, it's kind of confusing, so I'm just going to change the name. I'm just going to rename this one FAF domestic origin, FAF domestic destination. Okay, now what I do is I'm going to add another field here. Remember, I open up the Excel chart, I link it here. And I'm going to talk about the Excel chart that I just created. Open it up. Okay, we see modes. So if you go to the user guides, you will see things like what code goes with what mode, the commodity codes, domestic regions, international regions, and then what country goes to what region. This is something I can't use right now. We'll talk about that later. And then, of course, the numbers. So domestic regions is the one we want to link. It's got a FAF code. In fact, let me call it FAF code. FAF code. FAF region, state, and this is the information on the manual, type of region. I added BEA zone, which is the Bureau of Economic Analysis, and I did an ITTS region. If it's a 1, it's an ITTS member state. 2, it's not. Because I just added this code, I'm going to do save. And I know I'm just going to close this out. And I'm going to add this code. I'm going to refresh, because then it'll redo this link. So domestic regions is the one I want to use. So I drag that in here into this box. So I know that FAF domestic I'm sorry, I like to do imports. The origin FAF domestic origin first. I know it's a code. I know over here it's going to be the FAF code. So I link it. I want a left. I want everything that's in the FAF Tableau set to be included. And so I click on it and I do a join. I'm going to bring the same thing over. I'm going to bring the domestic data set over. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to look at FAF domestic destination. I'm going to link that to the FAF code. Do the left join, and now we're done. The reason I did it that way, because if I'd have brought the domestic region on these, it would have kept each element. So for instance, if I'd gone here and added domestic destination and the FAF code, it would only kept the variables upon which the domestic origin and the FAF code were the same, and the domestic code and the FAF code are the same because it's the same number. So you have to separate it, otherwise you're going to get an internal conflict when it does the matches. So it'll just wind up keeping the domestic origins and the FAF code and domestic destinations, which are the same. So we do them as separate lines. Not pretty, that's just the way it goes. So now we know, okay, well this is domestic regions, this is the FAF code. I don't need this field. I just do hide. Domestic regions, because again, this is notice it doesn't have a 1 in front of it. I don't need the state remainder of the state, so I'm just going to hide that field as well. And see, open it up, just be easier for me to click it this way. Now I get a horizontal tag. And I can say, oh, okay, well this is easy. FAF region, that's this one. Domestic regions, because it was first. See that this is the 1 here, we have the 1s. No 1 here, so we know that this FAF region is, we're going to rename it, we're going to FAF, we're going to call it FAF, domestic region, domestic origin. And of course, this is the state. We're going to call this state origin. I don't need to know the type of region, so I'm going to hide that. I do want the BEA. Now you notice the state of origin has this globe, which means it recognizes it as a geography field. It's actually a 2-digit postal code. BEA is your Bureau of Economic Analysis. We're going to rename this one BEA origin. And of course ITTS region, we're just going to change that to a string. And then so now we have 4 barrels. We have it's a FAF. So we do the same thing here. We know that these are all the destinations. So we go FAF domestic destination. We know that this is the FAF. Oh, we need to just hide this one. Actually, I want to see how I renamed it. I just come back here, and there, I just come back and hide it. So come back here, I do rename, now it's FAF, domestic destination. And then here it's the same thing, it's the state destination. And the reason I'm separating state is because for most people, they will probably want to run state queries over FAF code areas. But having the FAF code, you may want to do something on like Louisville or Miami or Atlanta or New Orleans as opposed to Louisiana or Baton Rouge, whatever those subzones are. Again, we don't need this variable, so we just hide it. We don't need this variable, so we hide it. For this one right here, we know that this is FAF zone, BEA, and this is destination. And then, of course, the ITTS region is the destination. And this is the origin. Okay. And if you notice, the data sort order is basically, I can sort it a number of ways. I can sort it from, again, the name of the file ascending to descending, or I can sort it based on per table. I have 2 tables. I have a BEA table, I have a FAF code table, and then I have a FAF Tableau table. This is a text file, this is Excel. Now the interesting thing is, if you notice, this is an orange line, this is an orange line, these are orange lines. This color-coded helps me remember or see the linkages between the files. This blue, this is blue, this is blue, again reinforces these variables are related. So if I come back to here, I say, okay, well now I've done the geography on the international side for the FAF domestic, ITTS region. What I have not done is the foreign destination. So this is going to be a string. I'm going to do the aliases as well. Now I could have just cut and pasted them as well and built that relational database through the join, but I don't like having a lot of joins when I can just simply do the alias within the file structure. And there's other ways to blend data sets and aliases, but I find that this is, for me, this is pretty easy to do, pretty straightforward. Now, one of the interesting things, I'm loading the data to verify that these joins are working. If there's something wrong with the joins, then this data will not come back because it's trying to capture everything that's here that meets these criteria. So as you're doing these updates, if I kept going through this and it didn't populate it, well, I'll limit to 1,000 rows, then I would know that I did something wrong. So I do an update. FAF domestic origin, FAF code. Okay, so everything is there, and if you notice now I have a data set that has BA of origin, the FAF domestic region, ITTS region, state of origin, BEA. So I come back to here and I say, okay, I have not done the foreign import. Now I'm going to do the foreign destination. Again, the alias. And why is the aliases not coming up? I know that's a string. I know that commodity is a string. Here's a string, that's a distance, it's a number. Actually, that's okay, all the headings look to be fine. String, geography, here, distribution value, trade type. Okay. Go to trade type. This is a string. So I come here to alias. I know that this is domestic. This is imports, exports. Hit OK. Tons, 7 ton miles. Okay. Go back through my thing. I want to create, make sure I get all these finished. Destination FAF. And because these all have aliases, they show up as being such. Cancel. These came out of the Excel chart. Okay, distance band. Distance band. Okay, domestic mode we know is a string. I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to cut and paste it. The reason I do some cut and paste and the reason I do some as a Excel link is because, for instance, the domestic regions, if I want to go back through and put some additional geography in it, I have places to do that. I don't have to modify the original relationship in Tableau. If I want to change these aliases, then these mode aliases is not going to change. A truck's a truck, rail is rail, water's water. I'm not going to do anything with that. So this is basically domestic mode. I'm going to put aliases in, and basically my aliases are truck. This one is rail, water, and this is air, includes truck, air. Okay, 5 is multiple modes. Mail. 6 is pipeline. 7 is other and unknown. 8 is no domestic mode. Okay, so we have all these aliases put in. And so we come here, FAF domestic destination. We see the just double check. Oh, we see this one did not do because we only did the domestic regions. Why do we not do that? Domestic destination is FAF code. Okay. Okay, now see these state codes, and the reason I forgot is because I want to hide this. I'm going to hide this because what I really want to use is this field. BA, FAF domestic origin, ITTS origin, state origin, BA description, a destination, FAF. So I don't need to keep these FAF fields if I'm using these fields as their proxies. So then we come to domestic mode, we have the forecast, we have the international trade, now we come back to foreign destination. Again, I'm going to put aliases in here. Why is this showing up as string? Save it. It's weird. Okay, we'll beat that horse. Come back to Excel. I'm going to put in the FAF country regions. Just going to drop it here. And I'll know to add it. Now, if I'd have dropped it on top, directly on top of the FAF Tableau, it would actually have moved it over it. So we're going to do FAF, foreign destination. We're going to link that to the FAF region code. Actually, it's the wrong one. Just going to double check. So I come here and I look at my files. No, okay, that's the wrong one. This is the international region that I need to link it to. There's the code. So I've just done a little double check by clicking on that button. So I go, okay, this is the wrong one. I remove it. I come here, I add the international regions. If I had dropped it directly to this one, it would have replaced the FAF Tableau with that. So just drop it here. It's going to ask me how to link it. I'm going to link it as a left join, same thing. I'm going to look at the FAF foreign destination. I'll link that to the code. Left join, good. Double check it. And I have no idea why I'm getting this. Oh. None. String. It's all Canada and Mexico in there, and that's why it tried to default to the geography. Alright, just going to rename this one. This is the destination. Let's do an update now. Down the distance so I can hide it. Make this the same as that one. Foreign. Export. Countries. Okay, so now at least they look the same. So I'm going to sort. Again, just helps me keep everything kind of together. BA destination, BA origin, distance band, domestic mode, domestic, forecast, foreign export country, foreign import country. And this tells me the file name, foreign import mode. I haven't done this yet. Okay. So I'm going to do the stick. Just going to drop it in here. Stick is the same as the code. So left join, update now. Okay, so I start looking through my data. Do I have it the way I like it? I like this. I like this. The code, and yet we see the code description. Okay, I'm just going to call this, hide it because I really don't. Well, I'll keep it. I'll just call it commodity code. See, SCTG2 code. Commodity description, distance band, text. Actually, that should be a string.